Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial here with the master astrologer and researcher of ancient mysteries and ancient knowledge, Rumen Kolev, because people ask us to discuss a little bit more about primary directions to see how they work. And hello, Rumen. Welcome back. I'm very excited. I just want to mention again that primary direction is the most ancient method of prediction, and it works pretty much the same like transits in a sense, planets moving over other planets, moving over angles, but it's calculated in a very different way. And these are the movements that show the big events in life, like deaths, marriages, starting of new jobs, and so on, that were lost for probably 100 years or even more. They were not used by astrologers because they're very complicated to calculate. And Rumen Kolev single-handedly restored the algorithms for primary directions. And he's teaching a course now. I'll be with him on the course on primary directions, how to use them practically. Primary directions is the best way for rectification, finding the exact minute and hour of someone's birth. Primary directions are the way to map out the future for years ahead for a person, and to make very precise predictions as well. Hello, Rumen.
Hello, Lada. Nice to see you. Hello, everybody.
So can you tell us a bit more about primary directions? They're the actual movements of, as far as I understood, of the stars and the planets in approximately for a person's life, what happened in the sky for the next 90 minutes after they were born is anything that was on the sky, how the stars moved, how the planets moved. This is what primary directions is. It maps out the next 90 minutes after your birth, and that's how your life unfolds after that. If you live till what? If you live till 90 years or something, 90 minutes till 60 years. Or let's say the next couple of hours, the next 2-3 hours after birth, yes?
Well, it is it is like every 4 minutes after birth
Is
are
1 year.
equal to 1 year.
Okay, so
So yeah,
of your life, yeah. So if 20 minutes after you're born, that will be 5 years when you are 5 years old, basically.
5 years old. Yeah.
Yes, and if by at that time at 5 years old, the star of success was rising on the horizon, you become a child pianist that is famous or something, whatever, you know.
Yes. Actually, you see, the primary directions, they have this cloud of difficulty, of something very mysterious, very secret, something that very few understand, which is actually correct. The last one, uh, um, they they have been the major tool for prediction, actually, of all famous astrologers in human history, starting from Hermes himself. Um, So it's the basis of the primary directions is the apparent turning of the celestial sphere, and it is based on the time fractals, like 4 minutes are equal to 1 year of life, and what happens within these 4 minutes on the sky is for this peculiar year, which are for these 4 minutes. The first 4 minutes are the first year. The second four minutes after birth are the second year of life, and so on. So this is the basis, and whatever happens on the sky in this period is connected with what will happen in the life of this person. and what is happening in the sky. Let's say, it's 4 minutes is 1 year of life. This means that in 1 hour we have 15 years, right? So in 6 hours we have 90 years.
Okay, so around 6 hours after birth is the maximum.
Well,
220. Yeah.
somewhere around there. So for this 6 hours after birth, many phenomena may happen, and this will be rising on the eastern horizon. Planets, points on the ecliptic, fixed stars also, and culminations of planets, of fixed stars, of ecliptical points. These are the most obvious phenomena which happen connected with the apparent turning of the celestial sphere. However, there are many more. There are many more things, because don't forget that here we deal with three-dimensional celestial turning sphere, and there are many things on this celestial sphere. There are different coordinate systems. There are different circles, and mathematically, this is extremely complicated. In order to compute all these primary directions, we need to know spherical trigonometry. We need to be able to imagine the three-dimensional sphere and how it's turning. And we need to observe the sky. We need to be able to imagine given horoscope in 3 dimensions, as if we see it with our eyes on the sky. And we should be able also to turn in our inner sight, in our imagination, in our inner mental field. We should be able to turn the sphere and see internally in our inner vision, to see what is happening on this celestial sphere, because the primary directions, to understand, my aim in this webinar, which is coming on the 7th of September at 5 p.m. Sofia time, we will start. And I think we have how many sessions actually? Every
6 weeks.
Six sessions, like every Wednesday.
Yes.
Every Wednesday, starting from the 7th of September, 5 p.m. Sofia time. There will be 6 sessions, and in this webinar, my aim is to explain the logic, to explain the basis of the primary directions. And this is the most important, actually, to understand them. Not so much, how to compute them mathematically. This is completely different story. Maybe we can deal with this also in some of the last webinars, here and there, some mathematical formulas. But this is not the main thing. Mathematics without understanding is good for nothing. It's just a tool. You have a tool, but if you don't understand how to use it, there is no use. So the most important thing is to understand the logic of the primary directions. And when we have this understanding, then we will know actually everything, how they work, why they work, and exactly in which field, because there are different primary directions. I mean, different methods, like, okay, Regiomontanus, William Lilly, which directed us per Regiomontanus, which is very famous. William Lilly from England, from the English speakers. They all, many people are very interested in this kind of primary directions, the Regiomontanian, which are completely different from the directions used by Ptolemy and by Placidus. The directions by Ptolemy and Placidus, they are the same actually. They're like if we take, for example, conjunction between two planets, right? Primary directions, let's say Jupiter conjunct Mercury. Okay, excellent. However, if we compute this direction in Ptolemy-Placidus system, it will give one result. If we compute it in the Regiomontanian, it will give another result. So people ask me, hey, well, which one is the correct one? Well, there is no correct one. There is no correct one. All of them are correct. However, they are correct in a different way. Like, for example, it is the same if we ask about the zodiac, like, which is the correct one, the tropical or the sidereal? Well, neither. They both are correct, because both of them describe and show apparent phenomena which is here for all to see. Like the fixed sidereal zodiac, these are the constellations with their images, with all myths connected with them, with all the stars. These are things that are here for all to see. So is the sidereal zodiac correct? Well, of course it is. It is here. It is here. Look at the sky. That's it. The stars. All right. What about the tropical zodiac? Is this correct? Well, of course it is correct, because these are the seasons. All right. The spring comes. Now is the summer in our hemisphere, very hot, 30 degrees, 40 degrees Celsius. So is this something here to see and feel for everybody? Yes, it is. So the same applies also for the primary direction, because the Placidian system, the Regiomontanian system, also we have other systems too. We have Campanus, we have also many other kinds of primary directions, which are figured out by some authors. So all these Regiomontanian and Placidus, they are all correct, but because they deal in a different logic. There is logic, but it is a different kind of logic. Why this conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury, how it is computed. Both logics are okay, and if we know the logic of these things, then we will know what is the difference and how will a Regiomontanian direction act, and how will Placidian direction.
So they will both manifest, just in a little bit different ways and at different times.
Yes, they describe event. They describe event which happens in a different field.
Mental, astral, physical type of thing.
Yes. Emotional, or it's So this is the most important thing, and also it is also to mention that what is known for the primary directions per se, like how they are known by the public. When you say primary direction, everybody imagines, okay, all right, these are this very, very slow kind of technique, which is like 1 degree 1 year, or 4 minutes 1 year. All right, this may be true, okay, but the logic here is the connection with the turning of the celestial sphere. This is the most important thing for the primary directions, that the basis of the primary directions is the turning of the celestial sphere. And this turning can be with different time measures, like, okay, 4 minutes equal 1 year of life. That's what are the primary directions known for. However, we can change the time measure. We can change the key. For example, if we put 2 hours equal 1 year, this will give us the perfections.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. However,
Perfections are a type of primary directions.
Perfection, yeah. Many techniques are actually a type of primary directions, because the perfections are 2 hours equal 1 year.
Yeah.
And this is the basis for the perfection. And actually, the real perfection is when you watch the whole celestial sphere for these 2 hours. What is changing? What is happening?
Is there a storm in the sky, or
who is coming on the ascendant? Who is culminating? Planets, fixed stars, anything. And also, of course, 1 day equals 1 year. Again, and they are also bigger, like 1 month equals 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And they are also smaller primary directions, because if 4 minutes are equal to 1 year, then we can divide these 4 minutes in 12 parts. And each one will equal 1 year. And further, we can divide even each one of these divisions, like 4 minutes is 240 seconds, and divide it in 12, they'll give 20 seconds. So 20 seconds is 1/12 of 4 minutes. So you see, we can divide the 4 minutes in the way we divide the year. First in 12,
yeah,
and then each one in 30.
That's why you say they're fractals.
Yeah, so this is the fractals in the primary directions. So if we divide 20 by 30, we will get something like 0.833 or something like that, even less than a second. And this one will also be equal to 1 year of life.
Wow. So actually, everything in life is like contained, the whole life, which can be described by 6 hours, can also be contained in a few minutes, in a little cycle as well.
Absolutely. And we have talked actually why 4 minutes will be equal to 1 year. People when they talk about primary directions, they usually talk about 1 degree equals to 1 year, but this is not completely correct, because what is meant here is 1 degree on the equator, 1 equatorial degree turning. So when on the meridian, because 1 equatorial degree passes the meridian in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's why they talk about 1 equatorial degree, but this is actually measure of time, not so much of angle, but measure of time. Like when they talk about primary direction, they believe that they are talking about angles. And even some very famous authors who wrote books on primary directions, they had this theory that primary directions are angles. Well, you may look at them also as an angle, but much better understanding is to look at them as time, based on time.
And that's why the best methods for prediction.
They are very slow. Like let's take a planet to ascendant, or well, let's take a planet to angle, to one of the angles, the horizon or the meridian, upper, lower, eastern horizon, western horizon. So a planet in the whole life of a person will have usually only 2 such directions. Okay, imagine somebody with Mercury in the 2nd house. So if we turn the celestial sphere in direct motion, which is the normal motion, then Mercury will rise on the eastern horizon. Right? So this is one of the possible directions. And if we move the celestial sphere back in time, then Mercury will go to IC, to the lower meridian. And this will be the 2 directions. Because if you compute the next angles, which will be Mercury to MC, the person will be like 200 years old, right? So because they're so rare, they don't happen, so often. Because they are so rare, that's why they are so strong. But not everything which is rare is strong. It must also correspond to a major apparent event in the universe. Like the rising of a planet on the eastern horizon is apparent phenomenon, observable by everyone, okay, who can see this. So the culmination of the planets also. So these things are phenomena which are apparent, which are observable. Sometimes they are very impressive. For example, the sunrise, or the heliacal rise of Venus. For example, this is absolutely astonishing phenomenon to see. It's like the day is already here. It is so light everywhere. It is so bright. Nothing is on the sky. Nothing, no stars, nothing. And suddenly you see a powerful star rising on orange background, bright, powerful, pulsating in its major power. And this is Athena Pallas. This is the morning star Venus rising again from the underworld. And this is the herald of the day. This is the divinity of the divine wisdom. So this is as you see, very huge event, which we can see remarkable, and obviously such kind of remarkable big event on the sky, of course, will correspond to the same in astrology, the same for the life of the person or the life of the society or everything in the whole cosmos. So that's something that we must keep in mind, that the primary directions, we must take care when we are dealing with the primary directions. We must know some things about each category, because they are different. They are interplanetary conjunction, they are interplanetary aspectual between the planets, they are mundo parallels, rapt parallels, rapt conjunctions to the meridian, to the horizon. There are so many different, and each category has its peculiarity, like how often does it happen. There are some, for example, the aspectual directions, they are much more often than the directions to the horizon and to the meridian. So we must keep in mind this. Also, we must know how will change the hit date of a direction if we change the birth time.
The birth.
Yeah, because there are some primary directions, 1 minute change in the birth time will result in 1 year change of the hit date. These are the mundo parallels. Some of them, they are very time sensitive.
Yeah.
So we should know the time sensitivity. In contrast, the mundo conjunctions between planets, they seem not to change at all. Well, they change. We change in the birth time, but very little. Like, you change the birth time with 1 hour, and the conjunction of the planets will change with, let's say, like 3 months or something.
Yeah.
So time sensitivity is important. How often does this duration happen? This is also should be observed and known. And we will talk also about the different types in the different system: Placidus, Regiomontanus, Campanus, all the Hermes, all these kind of directions. What is their logic? How it looks on the sky. We should be able to imagine a primary direction on the sky, on the 3D, on the three-dimensional celestial sphere. We should be able to see the celestial sphere turning and how one planet goes to another one.
Yeah. Can you give us an example quickly? Just a simple example.
Well,
I mean, like of a primary direction in someone's life, how it acts.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Maybe I can share the screen.
Yes.
Right?
Can you?
You should let me able to share the screen. Can you?
Okay.
Okay. Can I now? Okay. All right. Let's share the screen. So this is here. Placidus. This is my chart here, and for example, let's say Mercury. You see where this is here, the tropical chart in this small window here. So these are the directions to the angles. I want to show you, for example, the conjunction and the positions of Mercury. For example, look here. Mercury conjunct with Jupiter is in 2013. All right, Mercury is coming here, and this is converse direction, going back in time, conjunction with Jupiter. So what happened in 2013? In this year, actually, it was right there somewhere in April 2013 when I finished my book, The Babylonian Astrolabe, which is published in the academic stream, in the astrological study series. So then it was printed in July 2013 in the United States, the Babylonian Astrolabe. So this obviously shows this here, this direction here.
Yeah, very clearly, Jupiter Mercury Publishing.
Yeah, so here also the other one, Jupiter to Mercury, as you see here, is in 2017. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this here, when I traveled a lot, actually in 2017, in this time, I was in the United States.
Yes,
Yeah, I actually I left the United States in the beginning of 2006, and in 2017, this was the first time for me to go back.
Yeah.
Okay, because I went there to see my son, whom I have not seen since 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have not seen him for 10 years. So this is the year when I went to the United States. And then the next year, because you see, this kind of primary directions, they don't act on the day or on the month.
Mm-hmm.
They have a spread of time when they act depending on the direction. But very, very often they act for plus minus 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes more.
Yeah.
Depends. Sometimes they act like plus minus 3 months. But the conjunctions, the conjunctions usually act for a longer time. So obviously these are the corresponding. I forgot to tell that in 2018 I was in Egypt
Studying.
Yeah, so this direction, Jupiter conjunct Mercury, also applies to my I was there almost for half a year, long time, very, very fruitful research.
Arabic.
And also there are different keys that you transform the time arc into time of life. Here is the key of Ptolemy, which is here, this one. However, we can use also Nibud. And if we use Nibud, then Jupiter conjunct Mercury will be in 2018 when I was in Egypt.
Yes.
So another directions For example, Mars, look here, the Sun opposition Mars, 2006. Well, if I go up to Ptolemy, this will be in the end of 2005, December 2005. The Sun converts direction to the position of Mars. As you see here, okay, you see here is the Mars is on MC. The Sun, this is a tropical zodiac with Placidus house system. So we move the sphere backwards in time, and the Sun goes in this direction. And when it comes somewhere here, you know, Mundo, it is in Mundo opposition with Mars. Okay, let's be clear in one thing, that these are not phenomena which play out on the ecliptic. These are phenomena which play out on the three-dimensional celestial sphere. So anyway, so what can we expect, Lada, of this direction? It is very, very logical. Look, for example, Mars up here on MC. Well, there will be problems. Yeah. There will be problems with police, with Interpol, with
Interpol.
Well, yeah, Mars. There will be problems.
Story to tell.
However, Lada, this is a night chart, so there are very huge chances, very good chances that this guy will escape somehow from serious problems. Well, he may have problems, but he will he'll go around them in some kind of way. Very, very logical, because Mars in a night chart is much, much better. Okay, but not only this. Okay, Mars here, look, he is in a position with Venus, with Saturn square the moon. Okay, he has trine with Mercury, but something very, very nice, Jupiter is here. Jupiter is here. You know, the big good dude. The good guy. The good guy is here. Marduk, the merciful. We know from ancient astrology that every time when we have a problem in a chart, you know, like heavy opposition, heavy square, some kind of crazy heavy stuff, we know that if Jupiter throws a ray or is in conjunction there, he will fix the problem. The possibility is extremely big that Jupiter will fix the problem. So we have here Jupiter. So okay, the Sun goes here, goes to a position with Mars. What we can expect? Problems with the powerful of the day.
Mars in the midheaven.
Mars in the midheaven, and also the Sun. You know, the Sun is like the symbol of the king or the guys with the power for the moment, right? So this may mean some kind of violent kind of problems with the powerful of the day. Yeah. So let's see when this happens. Okay. All right, look here. Mars opposition Mercury happens in the end of 2005, and then Mars direct to opposition with the Sun is happening in the summer of 2007. So what is happening here? Yes, indeed, in this period, this is one of the most intense periods of my life, actually, because in the end of 2005, I decided to go back to Bulgaria and take my son with me.
Without asking.
Pardon?
Without asking for permission.
Oh, well, we have talked. I have talked with my ex-wife, or with my ex-wife about this, and we agreed that that we will go back to Bulgaria, that our son will be raised and will study in Bulgaria. However, Lada, in the end of 2005, things changed big way. My wife then told me that it's all over, that she's staying there, that she doesn't want to go back, that all our dreams, all our plans are finished, and that she wants a divorce as fast as she can get it.
Wow.
And I said, hey, wait a minute. We have talked that we'll go back to Bulgaria, that our son will study there, will be raised there. Hey, what about, well, no, he'll stay here. He'll stay here. So I was so angry then, Mars, anger. Because I have not reached nirvana, the third level where all anger disappears, and still I have not reached this, and even less I have reached this nirvana in 2006, right? So I was very angry, and I decided to do it myself. So I said, okay, let's see. And I took my son back to Bulgaria without asking permission from my ex-wife. And she, of course, started all procedures, and I was listed in the Interpol list
For kidnapping a child.
for parental kidnapping. Imagine this. I'm asking these guys, what kind of kidnapping is this? When I take my own son, and go back to the place where we have lived with my wife, right, in Bulgaria, to our house, to our place where we have lived together. When I take my son and I bring him to the parents of my wife, of her father and her mother, I took the child to her parents, to the place where she was born and where she was raised. What kind of kidnapping is this? Come on, are you joking? However, Lada, you know what happened? This bilateral, stupid kind of agreement between the United States and the Bulgaria about the Haga Convention, which deals with the parental kidnapping, right? Was affirmed, was affirmed or approved. This kind of bilateral agreement was approved between the United States and Bulgaria 1 year before I left with my child. This was approved in 2005, and I left early on the 2nd of January in 2006. 1 year. If I have left 1 year before that, nothing would have happened. So, parental kidnapping. Okay, I will understand that there is some logic if I take the child and I go somewhere and my wife doesn't know where I am, and she cannot contact me, she cannot contact the child, nobody knows where I am, Well, okay, this may be some kind of problem. Yeah, maybe. But when she knows that I am in the place where we have lived together for several years, and her mom and her dad see the child and we go to each other homes, then what do they mean by this? Okay, whatever. The fact is that actually parental kidnapping, there is no such thing in Bulgaria as a notion. No? This is figured out like 10 years ago for some countries to be able, to take children from other countries. I guess so. The fact is, Lada, that I was put on the short list of Interpol.
Wow.
and this
Awesome.
yeah, and this happened somewhere in 2007.
Wow.
Somewhere in 2007. And in 2007, when I had this direction Mars direct to a position of the sun, in 2007, Lada, I was arrested more than 3 times.
Wow.
More than 3 times, because Interpol, Washington, D.C. was looking for me.
Wow.
Because I'm such a big criminal, Ooh, how can you? Because of this, so I was arrested several times here, and I had huge problems. However, Lada, they, of course, when they arrested me, every time when I was arrested, Interpol Washington wanted from the Bulgarian authority to transport me, to send me in handcuffs to the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was, the first time when they arrested me, I was staying like 24 hours in jail, and this policeman will come to me like every 2 hours. He will come and he will refresh of what is going on. Like he will say, okay, now the documents are sent to the Interpol Sofia, and we'll see what will happen. No, very, very probably we will transport you to Sofia with police, of course, and then they will transport you to the United States. And I say, ha, dream of this guy, this will never happen. And I knew that this will not happen because I have read the laws and everything. And I knew that this is not so simple, they cannot just say, okay, we need this guy here, and they come and handcuff you and send you. Because the Bulgarian authorities, the Bulgarian prosecutor said, okay, hey, tell us, why are you looking for this guy? What terrible thing has he done? And they say, oh, parental kidnapping. He kidnapped his own son. He took his own son to the home of the parents of his wife, and his wife is very angry. Oh, is this really a kidnapping? Said the Bulgarian prosecutor. And then he said, no, I don't think this is a crime. This is not a kidnapping. This is not a crime. So the Bulgarian prosecutor put his stamp, innocent.
Yeah.
And after 24 hours, they released me from jail. And however, I had to carry with me this document from the Bulgarian prosecutor with me, because I got arrested after this many times. I forgot how many times, maybe 5 times, 7 times, maybe, because every time, for example, I go to take my to have a new ID card, or I go to have a new driver license, and this lady asked me, do you want when I went, for example, to go for a driver license, she was looking in the computer, and suddenly she freezes like this for a second. And then she, again normal, and she turns to me and said, do you want slow procedure or do you want fast procedure for your driver license? And I said, I want fast procedure. And she said, okay, wait here a second. And I'm waiting, and after several seconds, somebody is tapping me on the shoulder. And I turn around and see what? A policeman. And he said, hey, we are looking for you. Interpol is looking for you. Come here. and I didn't have this document in me, So I said, hey guys, wait, I'm innocent. A Bulgarian prosecutor said with all his authority that I'm innocent. And he said, and they said, okay, where is the document? The document is home. Home, you say, we will call Interpol Sofia, and Interpol Sofia will call Interpol Washington. And then we'll see what we'll do. Maybe we will transport you to Sofia with police. And, the whole nightmare repeats. So, however, this time, they talked with Interpol Washington. And Interpol Washington again wanted me so badly. I'm such a big criminal, that I must be taken care of. So they wanted that they transport me to the United States again. And the Bulgarian police say, hey, but he says that he has a document from a Bulgarian prosecutor. And Interpol said, oh, whoa, no. We don't care about this. We want him here. However, again, they released me as soon as they saw the document, and they made this research. They called some telephones, and they knew that there was such a decision, so they let me go. However, this kind of things repeated several times repeated. So in this kind of framework,
to primary directions, it means it's not just on the exact day it chose. It can take up a whole year and a half, basically.
You see, as you see here, the amazing thing is that this here, from the end of 2005 until actually this was not in July 2007. Everything finished somewhere in September, October 2007. So as you see here, this is the time frame, and it is bordered by this direction: Sun opposition Mars, primary direction. One is with the Sun as a promiser moving. Like in the first one, we move the Sun, conversely, backwards. And in the second, we move the Mars. Mars is the promiser, the point which we move with the turning of the celestial sphere directly. So you see, exactly this is the period of huge problems. Yeah. So this is there in order to, and also don't forget that this is the Sun. The Sun has like in diameter, it is half a degree. Half a degree, which is like 6 months. 6 months. When one of the outline of the Sun, the circumference of the Sun, when one point makes, for example, the opposition with Mars, then comes the center, and then comes the other point on the other side of the Sun disk, right? So there is actually this primary direction lasts for 6 months. Like this here, what you see, 28th of December 2005. This is the primary direction with the center of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of techniques in primary directions where we can see what will be the period, exactly how different kind of periods, because the periods can be of several years. So we can use also the primary directions in charts of countries, of dynasties, of everything, of European Union, of Euro, you name it. Of course, in these cases, in these cases, we use different time measure. We can use, we can use one, like 1 degree. 1 degree equals 1 year. We can use this, but also we can use 10 degrees equals 1 year. We can use for the horoscopes of cities, of countries. We can use even 100 degrees. Even 1 degree equals 10 years, and 1 degree equals 100 years. These are, by the way, time measures which are given by medieval Arab astrologers. When they wrote about primary directions, they talked about primary directions in the charts of dynasties, of cities, of countries, and this is where you employ these other time measures. Arab astrologers, they were very, very advanced. Actually, I have said this before, like this astrology, which came from the Arabs to the medieval Europe, this was not the Arab astrology. This was the most simple books of Arab astrology, the most simple ones, the most elementary ones.
They have way more advanced.
Okay. Oh, of course, I have seen absolutely mind-blowing
techniques,
texts and things and manuscripts, Arabic manuscripts about astrology, about primary directions. Absolutely mind-blowing, something which is even more advanced than the primary directions of the 20th century, with all these mathematical tools. One thing, in the museum in Madrid, Spain, there is one thing which looks like astrolabe, right? Mm-hmm. Which is made from metal, from the Arabic Caliphate. I think it was somewhere maybe from the 10th century. So this object, which they believed that it was an astrolabe, actually I researched this object and I made a copy of it from carton. How to say? From hard paper, from card box. Yeah. So from kind of hard paper, I made a copy and I studied it. And to my absolutely great surprise, I figured out that this was an instrument for computing primary directions. First, this is the first shock. And the second shock was that, to my absolute great amazement, came the realization that actually these were not the Plotinian primary directions. These were the Regiomontanian directions. And as we know, Regiomontan lived 5 centuries later. He lived in the 15th century. And this object is from the Arabic Caliphate from the 10th century.
So they existed primary directions way before.
Way before regiomontane primary direction, they made an instrument to compute with it the regiomontane primary directions. So yeah, so there is a lot to talk about this. Recently, I looked in the book Physio Mathematica of Placidus de Titis. I have the book in original in Latin, and quite interesting stuff there. Very interesting things. We will talk about the different worldview and different systems in primary directions and all over in different authors: Placidus, Ptolemy, Regiomontan, Campanus, Hermes. So Placidus, quite interesting stuff. You know, one thing which captured my imagination was that he was talking a lot about what he called crepusculi, which is this period between day and night, in the like before sunrise and after sunset, like when the sun is 18 degrees below horizon, you know, it starts to light up on the eastern horizon, and when the sun sets, until it reaches 18 degrees below western horizon, there is this process of transition between day and night, between night and day. And in this case, Placidus is using a special algorithm for computing primary directions, a special algorithm, which is connected with the altitude of the sun below horizon. Because, you know, the logic of Placidus is that everything is light, and the light is what influences us. The light is the medium of power, of influence from the stars. And he said, if someone is born during this transition, we must take account exactly of how much light is there. So he is talking about the quantity of light, the quality of light as medium of influence from the stars and the planets. Quite interesting stuff. Mathematically, it is of course a horrible thing to go into, because, you know, these old astrologers, from the time of Placidus until the advent of the computer, you know, like from the time of, well, let's say from the time of Ptolemy, even before Ptolemy, until the computer, which is like 1970, somewhere there, the way they computed primary direction was absolutely horrible, shocking, unpleasant, tedious, tiring, boring. So this was a method when they used different instruments that they had in their disposal. In the ancient times, they had some kind of hoard tables, tables of hoards. Then in the 19th, 20th century, they had this kind of calculating kind of linear, ruler, a special,
some kind of a device.
Yeah, they used a special ruler, calculating ruler. They used also logarithms, and the way they explained the primary directions, how to compute this, was like this. Okay, you take the ruler, you put this in 0, then you measure how much is in the A field. Okay, you take the anti-logarithm for the B field, okay, and then you look in the table. So some kind of such absolutely crazy thing, you know, and who the hell will understand this? Tell me. Who the hell will understand this? So I spent months reading this and repeating step by step all this unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary procedures. Now, when we have computers, now everything is trigonometry, simple spherical trigonometrical formula, and we're done. We're there. And the most important is to understand the primary directions, to understand their logic, their basis. And this is what very, very few authors from the ancients and from the modern give. Well, because many of them don't understand the primary directions themselves. Of course, these big names, Ptolemy, Regiomontan, well, they were genius. Campanos, they understood very well the primary directions, but they explained them in such kind of terms which are incomprehensible for the modern person. So yeah, we have. I hope we will have a very good webinar with a lot of examples, with a lot of real astrology. Because look, guys, look, gals, look, Lada. This will not be a boring, horrible mathematical torture, you know. No, this will not be this. This will be completely different thing. This will be explanation in three-dimensional world, how you look at the sky, what you see, how is the sphere turning, and how the directions actually happen when you look at them with your eyes on the sky, how you see them happening. You know, imagination.
Thank you so much, Rumen. I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, I'm not feeling too well. To that webinar, and see you on September the 6th. Sorry about that. Thank you everyone for watching.
On the September 7th. On the September 7th.
Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, Lada. Be good. Be lucky.